The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Freeholders is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. When we rise, we're going to ask for, prior to the prayer, we're going to have a moment of silence for Atlantic County Council Jim Ferguson's mother, and then we'll follow by the pledge of allegiance.
God of all nations and people, grant us the knowledge and compassion to wisely execute the duties of our office. We ask, O God, that you bless our nation and this world with peaceful solutions in all controversy. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the roll.
Chairwoman Kern, Freeholder Risley will not be here today, and Chairwoman Gatto is in jury duty.
Thank you.
Bennett?
Here.
Bertino?
Here.
Corsi? Days?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Formica?
Here.
Kern.
Here. We've had an opportunity to review the minutes from July 2nd, 2019. If there are any corrections, otherwise I'll obtain a motion to adopt the minutes as written.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Chairman, I need to abstain.
Okay, thank you, noted. Okay, motion carries. We have two wonderful presentations today. So we're going to have honoring the Eagle Scouts and Rich, Freeholder Days.
We're going to be recognizing Brian Sugarts, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And Stephen Bernard, who recently became Eagle Scouts, which of course is the highest honor in scouting. So, good job. Correct? Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, of course I do.
So listen, I just want to congratulate both of you. And this is the highest ranking Eagle Scout, but I know it takes a lot to get there. And your project was working on a public volleyball court at Epsom.
Yep.
I went there back in the day, so this is a great addition to the high school there. And you guys, this achievement is quite impressive. You know, there's so many distractions today. Constantly fighting for my own children to get off Fortnite and whatever else they're doing. But you guys are now, you rank among the leaders, not only in your Eagle Scouts or the Boy Scouts, but also in government, politics, science, you name it. You guys have the keys to your own success. So once again, congratulations, and it's a tremendous effort, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you present these on behalf
Sure.
of County Executive?
And County Executive Dennis Levinson has a proclamation for you as well. You guys mind if I read this?
Of course.
It's a pretty impressive accomplishment. So it says, whereas Stephen Bernard is a resident of Galloway Township and a member of Boy Scouts of America Jersey Shore Council, Troop Number 634, and whereas Stephen Bernard has advanced to the ranks in scouting, earning more than the required 21 merit badges and fulfilling the requirements in the areas of leadership, service, and outdoor skills, making him eligible to receive the Eagle Badge, the highest achievement rank in scouting. And whereas Stephen Bernard has officially demonstrated his leadership skills and service to the community with his Eagle Scout Community Service Project, in which he partnered with fellow Eagle Scout and neighbor, correct? Very much. Brian Sugarts, to build a public volleyball court at Epsom High School in Galloway for the recreational enjoyment of students and residents. And I have a similar one for Brian because they did work together on the same project. So it says, whereas Brian Sugarts is a resident of Galloway Township and a member of Boy Scouts of American Jersey Shore Council, Troop Number 634, and whereas Brian has advanced through the ranks in scouting, earning more than the required 21 merit badges and fulfilling the requirements in the areas of leadership, service, and outdoor skills, making him eligible to receive the Eagle Badge, the highest achievement rank in scouting. And whereas Brian has sufficiently demonstrated his leadership skills and service to his community with his Eagle Scout Community Service Project, in which he partnered with Stephen to build a public volleyball court at Epsom High School in Galloway for the recreational enjoyment of students and residents. It says, whereas Brian deserved a distinction shared by only 2.5% of all Boy Scouts by attaining performance-based rank of Eagle Scout. Whereas Brian and Stephen were recognized at an Eagle Scout Court of Honor on Sunday, June 23rd. Now, for I, Dennis Levinson, County Executive, do hereby proudly recognize and salute Eagle Scouts Brian and Stephen. So congratulations. Get a picture?
Yes, please.
Actually, no, let me separate this so it don't get credit here.
Thank you.
I'm sure you were the right person. There we go.
I'm very proud, and I'd like to thank everyone for these awards, and very happy to be here.
I just want to say thank you guys for having us and all the awards you've given us. We really appreciate them. We're really proud of ourselves. Thank you guys.
Any other comments from the freeholder?
I would just like to say, I have said this before and I will always say it, I am an Eagle Scout mom, so I understand. I'm very, very proud of you guys. You should be proud of yourselves. But I also commend the moms. I know what you did. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you.
Great job.
Any other freeholder comments? Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, we now have, I think we have the Egg Harbor Township Tornadoes, 12 and under Babe Ruth Softball World Series
Okay, Mr. Levinson could not be here today. He was on his way over and got called away to some business. So I'll be the poor substitute. Can Coach D'Agostino come up? So I think this may be the first one that I've been on the last 10 years. We've had a Babe Ruth Softball World Series champions. So you're first, okay? And, you know, I just went through the names, which you'll be handing out the individual certificates. And I noticed that you coach your daughter Isabella. Isabella, where are you? Okay. And the reason I say that is because I coached my son for about 8 years in ice hockey. When he got to be 16, he said, if you're on the bench next year, I'm not. Hopefully you and your dad can work that out. Okay? So these certificates are in recognition by the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders. And they are to the Egg Harbor Township Tornadoes 12 and under as 2019 Babe Ruth's Softball World Series champions. And all the names please come up. Okay.
Girls, come on up.
All right. Ellie Neola. Shelby Barnes. Ashlyn Walker. Evangelina Kim. Isabella D'Agostino. Okay. Denver Obermeyer. I like that name, Denver. I got a stepdaughter named Montana. Real Buteau.
Hey, Frank, that's mine, so watch what you say.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Michaela Schlemo. And Allison Amadio. Okay, and we have similar certificates from our county executive, which your coach will distribute. And then Ashley Bennett and I will present from our Atlantic County Executive, Dennis Levinson, proudly saluting the Egg Harbor Township Tornadoes 2019 12 and under Babe Ruth World Series champions, and hereby proclaims August 14th as the HT Tornadoes Day in Atlantic County. Congratulations.
I have you on the picture. Coach, you gotta get in there.
Come on, Coach.
Now you're good.
Ready? Michelle, you go first, and I'll take mine update on. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, one over here. 1, 2, 3.
That's what you gotta do. Look back here again. Thank you. Good. Oh, sorry.
Congratulations, girl.
And I would be remiss if I did not say congratulations to all the parents, because I know how many hours and how many miles it takes to make this happen. Congratulations.
Yeah, we can go.
Thank you for having us. My daughter's team went to the.
A lot of time.
Enjoy your summer.
A lot of summer hours. Yep. Good. Okay, so we have, we're into our ordinances. Thank you. Thank you. We have ordinance number 11 for a final reading.
Ordinance to vacate and abandon a declaration of covenants or restrictions for drainage structures for a property located between Tilton Road, Pomona Road, and Allo Street, identified as Block 453, Lot 2, Block 455, Lots 1 through 10, 12 through 16, 18 through 23, and Block 456, Lots 1 through 4, 6.01, 6.02, 6.04, 7.02, 10 through 13, 15 through 19, 22, and 24 in Galloway Township, final reading.
Move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public since this is the final reading? Okay, roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Okay, ordinance number 12.
Ordinance establishing no passing zones along Weymouth DeCosta Road, County Route 559/640, in the townships of Hamilton and Mullica and Town of Hamilton, Atlantic County, first reading.
Move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is just open for freeholder comments. Any freeholder comments? Okay, roll call please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Okay, now we're into our resolutions. Resolution number 449.
Grant application to the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission for innovation funding, amount not to exceed $120,000.
Second.
Motion was made second. Any freeholder comments?
I just want to say that the Youth Services Commission did an excellent job allocating the funding, as well as they had a long-term planning group that put together a new type of program that's going to be instituted under this funding for trauma-based therapy, group therapy. So, congratulations to them.
Any other comments? Any comments from the public? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. 450.
Grant application to the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission for state community partnership funds and families court services funds, amount not to exceed $519,939.
Second.
Okay, motion was made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 451.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the fiscal year 2009 opiate public health crisis response, Operation Helping Hand grant, amount not to exceed $100,000.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the freeholders? For the public? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 452.
Amended professional services agreement with Mazer Consulting for the design of pedestrian and traffic signal improvements project, for Ventnor Avenue, County Route 629, net increase $245,889.
Move. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, freeholder.
through you to Jerry, I noticed that it's Ventnor Avenue, and what city?
That's Ventnor Market and Longport. It's through the three towns.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, Ventnor Avenue, Atlantic City is no longer county road?
Our road goes to Dorset Avenue. I mean, so
Goes to Dorset Avenue.
Yeah. So after that, it's no longer, it's our responsibility ends at Dorset and goes all the way through
West End.
Longport. Yeah. The Longport.
So what happens on the opposite side, the uptown side of Dorset Avenue? Who's responsible for that?
Well, part of it's Ventnor and part of the rest is Atlantic City. Yeah. And we go out.
Ventnor Avenue was.
It was one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
You know I was trying to get something out of it, right?
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
I would certainly do so myself. Rightfully so. We, that's why we got West End Avenue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got it done. You got it.
Comments from the public?
I'm not that astute.
Roll call, please.
Start today.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 4-3.
Professional service agreement with Dr. Christopher Lucasti, consulting physician for a communicable disease and bioterrorism program, amount not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 454.
Amended competitive contract sub-grant agreement with Connect America for the provision of personal emergency response program, net increase $20,000.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 455.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver kitchen and catering supplies to members of the Atlantic County Cooperative, amount not to exceed $75,517.08.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 456.
Bid contract with Command Company for the installation of a new parking lot at 24 East Washington Avenue to serve the One-Stop Career Center, amount not to exceed $722,085.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Oh, yeah, Madam Chair, if I may, just through Jerry, you know how long I've been beating and fighting and
Yes,
screaming.
correct, yeah.
On behalf of the mayor, when I mentioned it to him and the council, the president indicated it would be on the agenda today, and they're looking forward to getting rid of all those potholes, et cetera. But it's a long time coming, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, it's a lot directly across the street from One Stop, the building we purchased 5 years ago maybe, and we now acquired that lot across the street, so now it gives additional parking, not only at One Stop, but I think it also helps some of the businesses along Main Street, so it's a long time coming.
So nice. So it's free parking? Free parking for anybody? You don't have to go into the one stop?
There's the businesses and who else, Jerry?
You want to go ahead? Yeah.
There's 119 spots.
Okay.
There's going to be a fence, 5-foot fence around it with gates, mainly for the employees and the public. It's going to be landscaping, irrigation, trees, it's going to be real nice.
But the length of time it took to get this done, because we're giving them an easement on the other side of where the gate is. And so on the weekends, the city will use it and the businesses will use those areas. So that's correct, right? So, our spaces will be definitely for the one-stop and staff.
And we're reconstructing and repaving Madison Avenue. That's getting done also with parks.
There was some hold out there for a minute, but it worked.
Freeholder
Yeah, just a quick question, Jerry. Is that card access you're gonna have to that parking lot?
It will be, yes.
How do people in the public get to take advantage of the parking if it's
There might
card
be a
access?
combination panel. Usually with the card access, we'll put a combination keypad also.
How could a general public know that combination? Nothing.
Well, I would say on the weekends, if we're gonna leave the gates open.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know, as we do it up in Atlantic City and other places.
Understood. So
Yeah.
during the work week, the gate will be down for the
Yeah.
employee parking, so they have it, and on the weekends, they'll go up for overflow parking.
Either one.
That's fine.
Any other freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call?
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes.
Madam Chair, if I may, before we leave the city of Pleasantville, through you, Jerry, can somebody answer me? Washington Avenue, from Franklin Boulevard to, I don't know, Delilah Road, is that county road? The whole Washington Avenue?
Washington Avenue goes all the way out to.
I know where Washington Avenue goes.
Right.
The question is it a
It's all
county
ours.
road?
It's a county road.
It is a county road. The reason I asked you that question, Washington Avenue, where the school is, New Jersey Bell, whatever it used to be on.
Right.
From past experience, when that road is snow covered, we have signs no parking, but nobody never enforces it. So when you plow that road, don't have nothing to do with this resolution today, but when you plow that road, you clean the street because the cars are parked back there. Ought to be some kind of notification that they have to clear those roads, vehicles, when the road is covered, potentially bad snowstorm. Because if you send your kids to school and the street got ice and snow and they slip and slide, and what's a county road? I thought our role was to open them up from curb to curb. Something to just look at. I don't need to answer today, but that came up in a meeting in Pleasantville last week. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. 457.
Renewal agreement with Trapeze Software Group, Inc., Incorporated, doing business as TripSmart Technologies for the provision and maintenance of proprietary software for the Atlantic County Transportation Unit, amount not to exceed $51,985.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes. 458.
Intergovernmental sub-grant agreements with various Atlantic County municipalities for drug and alcohol education and prevention services, amount not to exceed $299,093.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes. 459.
Acceptance of deeds, easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards for a property located at 331 Tilton Road in the city of Northfield, known as Block 17, Lot 9.01, no cost.
Moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes. 460.
Agreement with New Jersey Transit and the City of Northfield regarding the installation of a bus shelter at the intersection of Shore Road, County Route 585, and Oakcrest Avenue, no cost.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Bennett?
Oh, sorry, didn't know. Public, any public? Okay. Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Ramika?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes. 461.
Bid contract with Arrowhack Paving Company, Inc. to provide various mill and overlay on an as-needed basis through Atlantic County, amount not to exceed $1,073,900.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any freeholder comments?
Jerry, I noticed that the lowest bidder was almost $280,000 less than the other two, which are only $1,000 apart. I mean, is that, I don't know, it just kind of stands out as, I don't know, odd. I don't know how else to word that. I mean, the other two are within $1,000, and this one is $280,000 shorter or less.
I gotta can't answer what, this particular contract was developed by engineering. We get a lot of requests from towns to do what would be considered by their standards, engineering standards, to be short pieces of road work. So they did a specification, so they gave us an hourly rate for materials, whatever. So now we can go and salary and wage and materials, whatever. So normally they did an entire job.
Right.
So to start this, I think we gave them 2 pieces in Hamilton, because that was the most recent request that we had for shorter pieces of work. This company's from Hamilton, so that's the only thing I can think of, so I guess they
So maybe staging was,
so it was easier for them because they're right there.
okay. It just really stood out to me.
Right.
The second question though, at some point there was a discussion about buying a piece of equipment to do more of this in-house. Is that, because this is a year contract, are we still having that, or was that?
Yeah, we're going to do that. We do some minor mill and overlay when we have the equipment. That's in that, I don't know if you remember, you guys, I think they on a bond, it was $2.1 million. It was in that bond.
Okay, so this was a year, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Okay, any other freeholder comments?
Just a quick one to add to Rich's comment. Actually, we talked about this in the Roads and Bridges Committee meeting. This allows us those access to go into these areas where certain sections of the county roads have sections that are deteriorated, and rather than waiting until it's a large project where we have to take a lot of time to go out, we can go out and say our planning staff can say take 250 feet on this road and redo it, so it'll be part of this contract, and you have the unit pricing and we know what it's going to cost us. It allows them to clean up some of these pockets that can get done a lot quicker, which some of the municipalities have been really requesting.
Thank you for your comment. Comments from the public? Roll call?
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 462.
Extraordinary unspecifiable services contract with Insurance Agencies Incorporated for the purchase of a treasurer's bond amount not to exceed $1,166.
Move. Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. 464.
Authorizing consent for a roadway solicitation event by Family Association of Northfield Incorporated at the intersection of Tilton Road, County Route 563, Mill Road, County Route 662, and Shore Road, County Route 585 in the city of Northfield on Saturday, August 24, 2019, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Moved. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Okay, that concludes the written portion of the agenda. Any reports of special committees of the board? Unfinished business?
Did he say he wanted me to get up?
New business.
Oh, I got some new business.
Okay.
I'll wait for the good of you.
Any written communications and petitions? Okay. Now we're open to the public comment portion. If anybody would like to speak for the public, please come to the podium. State your name and address.
It's Bob Widditz. I'm the work for the county in the public health. I'm the director of substance abuse services, and I just wanted to come in to give the Freeholder Board an update. We have been doing the Narcan program for quite some time. We resurrected it this year. We have a new coordinator in Jennifer Peelhow, who is in charge of the municipal alliances and is also the Narcan coordinator. And I just wanted to report that last week Jennifer and I did a training for the first casino in Atlantic City to get Narcan trained and get Narcan on the casino floor. Hard Rock Casino had actually approached Ben Mount at their last security meeting, and we hooked up with them. We trained 25 of their senior security supervisors, and we provided kits so that they could put 9 separate kits in their AED boxes on the casino floor. In addition to that, Ben invited Jen and I today to go to this month's security meeting. We made everyone there aware of the fact that Hard Rock was the first casino to come on board. We now have Tropicana, Resorts, Ocean, and Valleys that have approached us about possibly doing training and putting Narcan in their casinos as well. So we're hoping that it continues forward and that we're able to do it in all of the casinos. We got a very nice kudos today also from the New Jersey State Police who were there. Apparently there's going to be a directive coming down from the state to getting all businesses Narcan trained and Narcan placed, and they were very happy that we were proactively working in Atlantic County to have that done. With that in mind, we also, with the new Narcan on board, we're ready to do the Freeholder Board. If you all are still interested in being trained, I realize that we can't do it in one shot because therefore we have to advertise and whatnot, but we'll set up with Sonia so that we can do at least 2 trainings and get all of the freeholders trained as well.
How long does it take to do a training?
Whole training takes about 45 minutes from start to finish. Okay?
And I think that that's very, very commendable. I think a few months back, you and I even spoke when something came out. There was a Facebook post about, an incident in one of the casinos, and it was very, I don't want to say upsetting, but when I saw that none of the casinos we were talking about, none of the casinos have it, and I believe Vegas, all of them have it.
Yes.
And you gave me an interesting story as well. That's you're protecting the people that are coming in, but you're also protecting their employees. There was an employee that touched something and had a response to that, and the Narcan brought him back.
Right.
So it's it's very commendable. I'm really happy to see that they're doing it, and even some of the public places like the Convention Hall. I think
I think one of the biggest selling points when we first had approached them back when Charlie Curley was here as my coordinator, they wanted to get with their legal departments, but in 2013, Governor Christie actually enacted the Overdose Protection Act, which is part of the Good Samaritan Act, and anyone who is using the Narcan in a good faith effort in an overdose situation is protected both civilly and criminally from any prosecution. So I think that has helped to sway some of the thought as well. But as I said, we got the first one on board, and hopefully we'll get a few more in the immediate future. So.
and you've gone as far as to assist them in the purchasing of these kits as
Well, right now, because of the fact that we have monies from both the Chapter 51 and the Alliance grant that's providing it, we're providing the kits. I think what we will also do is, in talking to them, if they use it or it expires, we would replace it at our cost. Because we get it at about 50% rate of what it costs the pharmacist for the Narcan. Pharmacist is paying $150 for a two-dose Narcan packet, cost us $75. So we would, certainly explore replacing at our cost.
Thank you very much for your efforts. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to just take 2 minutes. On the agenda today, you had, it's called Helping Hand, it's like the 3rd resolution down. And I had told the subcommittee that I would ask the prosecutor if he could send somebody. Mr. Bruce Shields is here today. He was just appointed the chief of detectives at the prosecutor's office, and he's here. I want to just recognize him because he did show up, and I really appreciate him coming.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You want to speak on the resolution?
Well,
We
nobody
already passed it, though.
asked. Nobody asked the question. That was
You kept me for a backup. You know what you did, right, Jerry? You held in reserve, never to offset a defeat, so you held it in. Okay.
No, I didn't want to do it because
Do we have any other comments from the public today? Any further freeholder comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Hold on, we can get to good order, yeah.
Oh, we didn't get to, oh my goodness, I asked if there were any further freeholder comments, so for the good of the order.
Madam Chair, let me just say for the record, I had a conversation, I believe, last week with Jerry regarding the unexpected news that came out in Atlantic City regarding the taxes. I also have a letter like Jerry coming to you and to the county executive. As most of you know, we talked about the pilot program here for a long time. As I said before, you were for it before you were against it, then you went to court and fought it was unconstitutional. final result was the county wound up winning about $38 million over the life of the contract, over the pilot bill. But it says no relief for the residents of Atlantic City because they're still being hit with these outrageous tax increases. When I have to continue to remind the administration and the county that Atlantic City and Pleasantville still makes up 23, part of the 23 municipalities in Atlantic County. I said all that to say because the phones have been ringing off the hook with folks in Atlantic City asking the same question, what did they do? If you want a fixed income and your taxes just got skyrocketed with this surprise, and some folks continue to tell you, we told you it was coming, that's bull. However, be as it may, after some further review today, one of the reasons I believe, at least I was told, Madam Chair, for the big increase is because, and Jerry, tell me if I'm wrong, Borgata, straight that, Hard Rock and Ocean was not originally a part of the pilot program. When it passed, I'm told they were able to become a part of it. And so that was a big damper on Atlantic City regarding the tax increase. I'm still searching that. I don't know if that's accurate 100%. That's why I said you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. They were out, but now they're in, which is a part of the pilot program.
Well, they were not part of the pilot because they weren't.
They weren't open
at the time. They might have been purchased, but they weren't open as casinos. That was my understanding.
Right. So by them now becoming a part, and I say be corrected if I'm wrong. By them now was able to participate, so to speak, in the pilot program. That became a damper on the tax rate in Atlantic City to some extent. Even with that, let's keep in mind that no matter what happens with the casino industry, no matter how much you make, that's the set dollar amount that's going to be allotted. But the taxpayers of Atlantic City have seen no relief. And I hear the county executive on the radio talking about that the pilot program, which benefited about, again, $38 million, which is good news for a whole lot of the municipalities. But as you know, I argue on this board day in and day out. It does nothing for the mom and pops of Atlantic City, whether you're a big business, a small business, or a homeowner. And so when you get a new bill at $600, almost $700 added on, you ask your question, where's the relief? And there is none. And yet the bottom gave out. And Denny's favorite quote is that Atlantic City over-assessed the casinos in Atlantic City over the years, but the county took all that money when the getting was good. And then when they had to reimburse it, it was a bad deal. The point is that I don't know what can be done, if anything, to talk about relief for those folks who are senior citizens of fixed income. And I'm going to tell you, Atlantic City will mess around and be a ghost town. No fault of their own. We just look around Atlantic City and we see what happened with Sandy when folks just simply walked away. And you can go on any given block, you find 5 to 10 homes, there's folks that's just walked away. And with this type of tax increase, it's tough to do business in Atlantic City. But not only just in Atlantic City. The state of New Jersey is just a tough place to do business because everything is tax, and more tax. I don't give a rat's tail if you're a D, or R, or I. Taxes in New Jersey are brutal. But at some point, we've got to figure out how we can make some kind of relief, so to speak, for those folks in Atlantic City. I want to live in Atlantic City, but my constituent base is calling. I'm sure they didn't only call me. They've called some other folks and asked that same question. How did this happen? We talk about Atlantic City coming in at a flat rate with no tax increase for the last 2 or 3 years, and then just after you pass the budget, in the county budget, Atlantic City gets hit with a big hit. Not pointing the finger, but there's a lot of still unanswered questions out there that folks, John Q, the public who doesn't get involved in your day-to-day politics or your day-to-day county and city government, they get this bill and they ask you what happened. So be prepared in terms of, we could see a whole lot of folks losing their homes for taxes.
Let me just, so what happens with the casinos that were not in and then they become, and they open as a casino. So their value comes out of the, whatever the equalized value is for the city, but they go in and they generate additional gross gaming revenue. And so whatever the county gets as gross gaming revenue, which would go up obviously if you have the 2 additional casinos, offsets our amount to be raised by taxation to all the municipalities, not only the 22 towns, but Atlantic City as well. It does help Atlantic City. As I think you and I had the discussion, their amount to be raised by taxation on the county side went down, and it went down pretty significant. But the issue is, for years, you made the same comment that the lawyer who, in the constitutional, as you know, the case dealing with the constitutionality of the pilot program, made the same comment to us in a closed session with the judge in mediation. Well, you had the money for all those years. Our comment back is we have no say. We met with the tax court judge for the state. We have no say in taxation. Nobody understands that. We sat there with our mouths dropping open. We say, well, we take a beating every year. If our taxes go up 1 penny, you look, we're at the top of the page 1. County raises tax 1 cent. The city, year after year after year, 8 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, you find that on the 5th page, in the lower right-hand corner of page 9 or 10. No one ever dealt with the city raising their taxes. It was always the county. Point being is, the judge said, you have no say in what goes on in taxes. So when the county, the municipality, was over-assessing the casinos, and the county was getting extra money, the municipalities obviously were making out. We weren't going to argue that, but we had no say in that. We had no say when there has to be a return of those monies. You know, they're called appeal credits or refunds. But what Denny was saying is accurate. At some point in time, because of the pilot, those refunds, the appeals would begin to dwindle from the casinos because they are no longer being over-assessed. Their base or their equalized value comes out of the base for the city, and the county now has to make up all the money that it had received, correct? So on average for 11 years, we were getting back on average $7 million. Sometimes it was 3, sometimes it was 16, sometimes it was 9, sometimes it was 10. But overall, it was $78 million we had to return. When those appeals end and there was no more refunds, as they said, you know, it'll come home to roost. So what happened this year for the first time, there was no more $7 million as an appeal credit. It was only $300,000. So while the amount to be raised by taxation in the city for the county went down, roughly, I think it was 1.4 million, something like that, the refund was only $300,000. So here's the comparison so you can see. The amount to be raised by taxation for the county in 2018 was $13.2 million. There was a refund of $7 million. So the amount of county taxes that the city had to pay in 2018 was $6 million. For 2019, the amount to be raised by taxation was $11.4 million, which is roughly 1.8, 1.6 less than 2018. But the refund was only $300,000. So that means now they're paying roughly $11.4, $11.5 million. That's a difference of $5.4 million from 2018 to 2019. That's the distinction, and that's what Denny's been saying.
But the,
Okay?
I reserve the balance of my time.
So I wanted to make one point. You made all the points about the refunds, and actually, last year the city had to pay $5.8 million to the county. This year it's got to come up to $11.3.
Right.
So there's $6 million. When you spread it across, it looks like the raise of whatever it is, 20 cents.
Right.
But getting back to Freeholder Corsi's point, how did the Taj and the Ocean building affect the tax rate? Well, for 2 years, the Ocean sat there as a taxable property, not in the in the tax base of Atlantic City, Atlantic County.
Correct.
Not in the Atlantic City's taxable base. The Taj, I think it was 3 years or 4 years. As soon as they entered into the pilot program, they come out of the tax base and just get divided into the 120 million. No more money is coming from those two properties based upon equalized value. As a matter of fact, I believe, somebody could correct me, the city lost between those two about $1.2 billion in rateables. They didn't lose them, so to speak, but they did because they were tax deferred into the pilot. If 3 more casinos open up, by statute of the state of New Jersey, their contribution is set in law for the next 8 years. Nothing Atlantic City can do about it. And I just want to point this out. Atlantic City, under the Department of Community Affairs, has been in control of the budget and the raising of money in Atlantic City since 2011, including the statutes on taxation. The county is only a pass-through. We are not a tax collecting agency. We are directed by statute. So I empathize as a property owner in Atlantic City, and that needs relief. But the situation can only get worse. Because if casinos acquire more property that's taxable, that's put under their license, it's just divided by the people in the pilot. It still stays at the 120 million, and there's a small escalator in there. If gross gaming revenues get above, 2.5, whatever it is, billion, there will be more taxes. But the taxpayers themselves have no relief. Nope. And if Atlantic City needs more services, roads paved, we don't even have backup emergency generators for our fire departments. We don't have intersections working. Where's the money going to come from? By law, the casinos can't pay anymore. I just want to I'll take this opportunity to make a comment. Instead of taking $10 million to fix up offices at Boardwalk Hall, it's going to kill all the parking down there for events. Because there's only 130 spaces in the bottom of Boardwalk Hall, or whatever it is, a limited amount of spaces. Take the 10 million, put it toward tax relief.
Freeholder. What I've heard, and the math all makes sense, I don't argue with anything that anybody said, but what I've heard from people is, why is this a surprise? Why didn't anybody see this coming? Didn't we know that there was only going to be a $300,000 rebate this year? That's what I've heard from people. They're surprised.
The county saw it coming. They predicted it when the pilot went in place.
And the county rebating the money back dried up.
This year.
Because there's no... The pilot achieved its objective in what was supposed to be the positive criteria. Please stop these casinos from doing appeals. Okay, they got that. But with that came no more rebates from the county on the overassessment. And we knew that was going to happen in this year.
Well, I said to be corrected. Didn't Hard Rock appeal their taxes and now we are...
400,000?
I'm sorry?
400,000?
No, I thought it was a couple $1 million.
I can't answer that question.
And Frank, you make a good point, and most of what you said is probably, as I said, probably accurate. I said probably.
I like probably.
This okay, it's better than not being accurate. But I said all that to say, the folks in Atlantic City are still concerned where the relief is going to come from, and nobody knows. I don't have the answer. And so at the end of the day, like you said, the $120 million that's set aside in the pilot program, and
just I want you to understand, it's not 120 million, but that's what people get confused. It's not 120 million. There are in the bill itself says 2.6. If the casinos have 2.6 billion to 3 billion, roughly 120 million.
Okay.
And I'm not giving you the right numbers, because when you go from 3 billion to 3.4 billion, I believe it is, it goes up to 130 million. I'm pretty sure about that number. If the first year of the casinos, it was 120. Second year was 130. If 2 years are the same number, so 2017 was the first year, 2018 was they exceeded, they went to 130 million. if you get 130 million in 2 consecutive years, they get a 2% increase. So it went up to 132,600,000, I think. So the county got 13.5% this year of $132,600,000. So it's, and the casinos of their gross gaming revenue, remember their gross gaming revenue appears to 3 billion. So it's 130 million. Now it's 132.6 million because it was 2 years in a row they got the 2% escalator clause. They pay of that 132.6. There is a formula. There are 3 things that they it's their footprint, it's their square footage of their footprint, number of rooms, and has something to do with the number of gambling tables. So they also have a formula internally of how much they pay of the 132.6.
Yeah, but that's inside baseball. That doesn't help the city. That doesn't do anything to change the total amount of tax.
I'm not saying it's not 100. The point I'm making is not 120. The point I'm making is it's not 120 anymore. So whatever is left over from whatever the county gets goes to the city for the schools and for the city. I can't answer what the city's budget is. We got their budget to look at their budget, but the point I'm making is it went up to 132.6. It's no longer 120.
And actually, if I read it right, the increase in Atlantic City was 20% school board. Am I correct? Wasn't actually the municipality operational.
It was the library. That was, and I said, and I called Jerry soon and hit.
Yeah.
The misleading, I think, started for me was when you seen the 40, was it 46 cent, 40, what was the
Well, we went from roughly 21 cents with a 25 cents increase to roughly 46. That was what and then the school went up 20 cents.
The school, the library, and the
It's a 45-cent increase for Atlantic City.
Unacceptable.
That's
Unconscionable.
Unacceptable. So the point I was really trying to make was, I don't know how many people in the community call the county executive, the administrator, but I'm sure some freeholders have gotten some call. Some of them probably don't give a rubber stamp, but those who do probably got phone calls and asking the same question. In the relief and sight.
Right.
And I'm just worried that, again, if we got hit by Sandy and folks walked away, and you get hit with this big tax bill, we're going to see a whole lot of more walking away.
Right.
And it's not going to be good for the city. And former chairman has made it very clear that DCA, state of New Jersey, has had their hands in Atlantic City since 2011, whether it was under the Christie, what's this guy, Chris Christie's administration, or it's under the Murphy administration now. He's cleaned up a whole bunch of the last 8 years mess. But be as it may, I don't believe it's...
You just had to throw that in there, right?
Of course. When he was there, everybody loved him. But he's gone, and he's the worst guy since faced Eric. But my point is that at the end of the day, what do we say to our constituent base, especially you at large members? That's your base. You still got to be able to explain to them how we got to this point. And it's not one person you point to and say it's your fault. It's been building over years, and it's going to take a long time to get out of it. And I'm just a little concerned about the seniors, those who struggle to make ends meet. It's going to be a rough road to hoe. I always give y'all this, and I'm done. This is my favorite speech. The working poor. They pour out coffees, they make out beds, they park out cars, they take 2 buses to work every day. Those same people are wondering now how they pay their taxes. It's going to be rough. And if you haven't heard it, I'm quite sure folks will start calling and trying to figure out if there any relief in sight. And go back to Chairman Formica's comment was, when you talk about the $10 million from CRDA that they want to pump into Boardwalk Hall, the verdict is still out in terms of, there's some for it, some against, and I got to be honest with you, the concept of it, I had no problem with it. If you're going to move them in to Boardwalk Hall for $1 a year, we save $700,000. On the surface of it, sounds great. But what I found out over the year, over the last couple of days, it's more a move for CRDA to move into Boardwalk Hall. right? The boardwalk off, and the Board of Education just
And they
becomes the
lose
front
their-
piece.
and they lose their rent. And at the end of the day, I just want to know, from a business standpoint, how authorities that are performing for the public good want to take 80 people working away from the central business district of Atlantic City, where all those stores and shops and restaurants are, and put them on the boardwalk where there really isn't a concentration of business.
Well, Frank, I would agree with you to some extent. I don't think they should be paying $700,000 in that dump anyway. That's just my personal opinion. Now, but because the Board of Education, I didn't want to get off coup on this, but because the Board of Education owns the old Indiana Avenue School, the old New Jersey Avenue School, when I had this conversation with the superintendent, I thought the best thing was to go in and rehab New Jersey Avenue School, bring it up to code, but he said it costs about $7 million. Well, we're going to pay in the washer and the rents, and at least we own it. Boardwalk Hall, as I said, it's more to put CRDA in it, and I'm told that they would turn around and either put the existing building they're in on the tax roll. That's wonderful. But I thought maybe the Board of Education could move it in. There's not enough room. Carnegie Library, not enough room.
The existing building they're in is on the tax roll.
Which one?
Firehouse.
Since when?
Firehouse.
Since when?
It's a privately owned building, unless they buy it.
I thought CRDA bought that building. It's a state-owned building.
And I just want to say that the money that they propose to use to renovate Boardwalk Hall is, by statute, can only be used for capital improvement. Can't take tax. Luxury tax.
So technically, they really don't need the Board of Education to go in there anyway, if they just want to move CRDA into the building. But be as it may, I mean, that $10 million, or some of that $10 million for sure help to go to some kind of relief in Atlantic City. I would agree with that. And they keep crying CRDA don't have no more money.
Do you know whether or not the school board has bonding capacity at all? I mean, because if they wanted to do capital improvements, they could take that $600,000 and renovate a building and probably not pay $600,000 if they did a renovation.
Well, according
Obviously,
to
they
the
don't
conversation with the superintendent, it would cost them, for New Jersey Avenue School, just $4 million to bring it up to code. Remember, they got hit by Sandy, and the building was never gutted out.
Right.
It just sat there.
Right.
But it's one of the few sound structures left in Atlantic City.
Right.
Same thing with Indiana Avenue School. So even if you took Indiana Avenue School, everything's got to be ADA and all that, and I get that. But I think you got to think long-term, and like you said, do they have the bonding capacity?
Yeah.
And if they don't,
Right.
Atlantic County does. Hell, we bonded to Stockton University so they can loan them the opportunity to borrow some credits from the county. So,
Well, ACIA.
Good.
I'm just saying.
The ACIA
Good idea, Ernie.
is
I'm just saying.
an entity.
But
We're backing their bonds, but.
I understand, but I'm just saying, if you could do it for Stockton,
Atlantic City.
I might be on to something. I'm not that astute, but I might be on to something. Don't you say it, Frank.
Now I see a good idea going this way, good idea going.
Frank says it's a good idea. I'm gonna stop right there.
He
'cause-
did, I heard him. That was a good conversation. Do we have any other further comments from the board?
After all that, I move for motion for adjournment.
I will entertain that motion. Made a second. Thank you all for being here this evening.